Hello children, we have started with transpiration process. In transpiration, I explained you that what is transpiration. It is actually the process of loss of water which is in the form of water vapor. It is either the water will be given out from the leaves or from the aerial parts of the plant. Okay, then we saw an experiment and a demonstration that how the transpiration process takes place by covering a potted plant with a polythene bag, and then we observed some water droplets on the polythene bag which indicated that the process of transpiration has taken place. Then few experiments we did with cobalt chloride paper, as well as we saw how to measure transpiration. Two methods are there, one is a weighing method and another one is a potometer method, where we explained what is actually a potometer. Okay, what is potometer doing? We have different types of potometers. From that we studied about Genong's potometer. Genong's potometer is basically focusing on what? It will be focusing on measuring the rate of water intake. Okay, it will be measuring on the rate of water intake by the plant. Then we saw some precautions as well as some limitations in the use of potometer. Now next thing which we will be focusing is on transpiration and its types. So majorly there are three types of transpiration process which we will be studying. One is stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration and lenticular transpiration. Now out of these three, the most important part is the stomatal transpiration, because most of the transpiration takes place from the stomata. So stomatal transpiration is what? It is from the leaves through the stomata. You have studied about stomata, right? What are stomata? These are nothing but the small little pores which are present on the under surface of the leaves. Okay, then next is cuticular, that is directly from the surface of the leaves and stems. Plant cuticle, we can say the outer covering of the leaves or the stem is called as cuticle. So from cuticular transpiration will be there. And the third one is the lenticular transpiration. Okay, lenticular transpiration is basically from the lenticels. Lenticels are what? These are open surfaces which are present on the old and woody stems. Okay, so these are the three basic types of transpiration. So let us first see what is actually stomatal transpiration. Now you are very familiar with the diagram of the stomata, right? This is stomata is plural, stoma is single. So each the stomata are minute openings on the epidermal layers of leaves, outer layers of the leaves. Now if you see, this is a stomata, it is surrounded with two bean shaped like cells. Okay, so these two bean shaped cells are nothing but, we can say that these are the guard cell. This is the stoma, nucleus, the epidermal cell, the cell wall and the chloroplast. Now what happens during the daytime, this particular stomata is open, okay, wide open, so that the process of that is the intake of carbon dioxide is taken for the process of photosynthesis. Now stomata may range from 1000 to 10,000 per centimeter square. That means in a square centimeter area, maximum 1000 to 10,000 stomata can be present. Now how is this stomatal transpiration taking place? Now in what is given out in during transpiration? Water is given out. So basically how this process is taking place? So in stomatal transpiration, water vapor is escaping out from the stomata of the leaf. Now what happens? There is a absorption of the water taking place, right? How is the absorption of water taking place? By the roots. Okay, we studied the processes in that. So when the roots are absorbing this water, okay, when the roots are absorbing the water from the soil, it rises through the stem and then it will reach to the tissues. So then first of all it will rise, it will reach to the stem and then to the leaves. Now on the leaves, then afterwards in the veins, a large number of spongy mesophile cells in the leaves have surfaces exposed to intercellular spaces. Now if you see here, these are the mesophile cells. Now what are the mesophile cells? Mesophile cells are those cells which are these are specialized cells for the process of photosynthesis. So here you can see that there is two types of mesophile cells, palisade and spongy. Now these mesophile cells which are there, they have intercellular spaces in them. Okay, so here you can see this is the plant cuticle, that is the outer covering of the plant. Okay, then this is the upper epidermis, this is palisade layer, then spongy mesophile lower epidermis, and these are the water vapor which is escaping out. So let us see that these mesophile cells which are there, they have lot of empty spaces in them. Okay, intracellular spaces between. Now these surfaces which are there, okay, these surfaces of the cells which are there, they have certain amount of water. Okay, so these surface we can say that these surface of cells give out some of the water as a thin film. So they will be giving out this water. So when these surfaces are giving out the water, okay, these water will evaporate. Okay, finally the water evaporates, water vapor is formed. This water vapor, what it will do, it will saturate the air which is present in the, it will saturate the air which is present in the intercellular spaces. Okay, this vapor then diffuses into other intercellular spaces, and finally it will reach to the stomatal space. Now here you can see that this is the stomatal space. Stomatal space is nothing but before the stomata, whatever space is there, that's it. Okay, and finally it will reach the stomatal space, and then it will be given out from the stomata. So once again I will tell you what is the process actually. Okay, water vapor will be escaping from the stomata. So first of all, the roots are absorbing the water from the soil. Okay, then this water will be reaching to the stem, and then to the leaves, and then to the veins of the leaves. Okay, now here these leaves which are there are large number of spongy mesophyll cells on it. Now these they can be spongy or pellucid also. Now these mesophyll cells which are pellucid and spongy are the type of mesophyll layers. Okay, now these mesophyll cells which are there, they have intercellular spaces in between them, right? So these surfaces which are there, the surfaces of these mesophyll cells which are there, they give out water as a thin film. Little amount of water they will be given out. This water will evaporate and water vapor will be formed. Okay, when the surfaces are giving out water, water will evaporate, okay, and water vapor will be formed. This water vapor, what it will be doing, it will be saturating the air in the intercellular spaces. Saturating means more and more amount. Water vapor is kind of a little gas, right? It will go in that air. So saturation, now where will that air go? That air will diffuse in other particles, in other intercellular spaces, right? Connecting intercellular spaces. So like that, here intercellular space, here, the water vapor will be reaching out of the stomata. So the entire amount of water vapor from the surface of the cell into the outside of the atmosphere is the result of diffusion. Now this is the process of diffusion. We studied about diffusion. What is diffusion? That is the movement of the molecules like of water vapor or any other gas, or it can be a liquid also, from the region of their high concentration to the region of their low concentration is called as this is called as diffusion, right? So this is how the diffusion process is taking place in this. So I hope this full thing is very clear, that how the water vapor is coming out of these particular leaves. Okay, now this is the vertical section of the part of the leaf showing diffusion from high concentration to low concentration in the outside atmosphere through the stomata. Now if you see where is the stomata present, under surface of the leaves, that is the reason it is being done in this way, that from the under surface of the leaves the water vapor is passing on. See, it's very important to understand the diagrams. Now for you I am explaining so many things, and I mean many things are being given to you. What I expect you all to do is, whenever I am teaching any topic, you just go through that topic once again, so that it will be very clear and you will be able to answer the structured and all these type of questions. Now you have lot of time with you, so please utilize this time. Okay, I am not telling you to sit for the whole day, but just utilize this time whatever you have with you, so that you can make best out of it. Okay, fine. Now let us proceed further. Now let us go to 5.8 figure. Okay, in the A. Now here if you see 5.8a, this is a section through the leaf blade. Okay, leaf blade, leaf lamina. So this is a section of it. Now let's see how what is happening over here. So here you can see that there is a movement of water through the leaf. Here also there is a movement of water. So how the cell sap which is there, what is a cell sap? What is a cell sap? The vacuole which contains water, right? Now this cell sap will be exerting a turgor pressure. You know what is a turgor pressure? Pressure exerted on the by the cell contents on the cell wall, right? So this turgor pressure will exert water out of the cell wall into the air space between the cells. So because of the turgor pressure, what will happen? Here, because of the turgor pressure, water will be exerted out of the cells and it will be getting filled up in these intercellular spaces. Okay, here also the intercellular spaces, the water will evaporate and then diffuse through the air spaces and then move through the subspaces then to the substomatal space. So this is a substomatal space, and then from the substomatal space it will be going finally by the process of diffusion. okay, by the process of diffusion. So what did we understand from by this? Movement of osmosis. Do you remember I had explained you during the root pressure also what happens? There is a movement of osmosis here, right? Because of the movement of osmosis, what we can say, there is a kind of a pressure which is created, then turgor pressure is created. Turgor pressure, what it will do? It will press the water out of the cell into the airspace. This water vapor will evaporate and then diffuse into these air spaces which are given. From these air spaces it will go to the substomatal space and finally out of the leaf. Okay, so this is also one figure that is showing the movement of water through a leaf. Then cells that lose the water in this way, replace it by drawing more of the water from the nearest vein. Now if you see over here, that cell which is there, so here you can see that this is a xylem vessel. Evaporation from the cell walls is taking place, right? So diffusion outside the transpiration. Now here small proportion of the water enters by osmosis. So as we see, water given out, there is a lack of water here, water given out, lack of water here. This water, how it will enter? Either by osmosis or by imbibition. Now what is imbibition? It is the absorption of the water from the surfaces, right? We studied this process, that is imbibition. So most of it will travel from the cell walls by the process of imbibition. So this is how the water enters. So here water is let out from what? Water will be let out by the process of turgor pressure. Due to turgor pressure, water will be given out of the cell, it will enter the intercellular spaces. Evaporation will take place, right? It will evaporate and the water vapor will diffuse through the air spaces slowly and steadily from the mesophile cells, and then it will be moving out of the leaf. And here now when the water is lost by the cells, there can be a lack of water. So how this lack of water will be recovered? Either by osmosis process, by absorbing the water, or by imbibition, which is absorbing from the surface of the cell walls. Okay, so I hope these aspects are very clear. Now thousands of cells which are there evaporate water in this way, causing more of water to be pulled from via the xylem vessels. So what is happening? Evaporation, pulling of the water. What is that called? As transpirational pull, right? Evaporation, transpirational pull, and this transpirational pull thus created can draw up water to about 50 meters or more in tall trees. So how do these tall trees get the water? It is because of the transpirational pull. Okay, so I hope this is very clear with you all. Now let us proceed further. Now we are going to see, I hope these all aspects, that how the stomatal transpiration is taking place, is clear. These diagrams are very, very important. You should be very familiar with the diagrams. Okay. Now how more transpiration which is there, it is occurring from the under surface of a dicot leaf. What is a dicot leaf? Dicot leaf are leaves of dicotyledonous plants. Dicotyledonous plants are plants having two seeds. So I have here a leaf of mango. Okay, this is a mango leaf which is a dicot leaf. Now here most of the transpiration will be taking place from the under surface of the leaves. Okay, if you must be having a mango tree in your garden, just observe it. So if you see, most of the transpiration will be taking place from this under surface of the leaves. Now what we are supposed to do is, we are going to observe that how the under surface of the leaves is responsible for more transpiration. So this is the above, this is the under surface of the leaves. Now here there are more stomatal openings on the under surface of dicot leaf, therefore more transpiration will be taking place from the under surface. Now how you can prove? Now you have to take cobalt chloride paper. One cobalt chloride paper you will keep here, okay, and the other you will keep it here. And how are you going to keep? You have to take two glass slides, okay, one glass slide here, one glass slide here, and you are supposed to tie it with a rubber band. And then what are you supposed to do? Okay, this with the two glass slides, the leaf will be remain attached. Now the leaf should be attached to the plant itself. I have removed the leaf just to show you. Now after some times, what you will see, that the piece of the paper which is facing on the upper surface, okay, now this is the below surface, right, this is the under surface. So under surface will be turning pink, and the upper surface, just a moment, okay, this is the under surface. The under surface will be turning pink, okay, and the upper surface of it will be either turning blue, or after a lot of time it will turn pink. So this experiment itself proves that there are lot of stomatal openings present on the under surface. That is the reason this gets pink faster than this particular area. Okay, so this proves transpiration takes place from the lower surface. So you can see here how they have taken the setup. They have put upper surface, that is ventral, and dorsal. Lower surface is called as dorsal. Okay, so you can see that it has turned pink. Here it is turned blue. After some time it turns into pink. So this is how the process takes place, that is from the under surface of the leaves. Now stomatal regulation of transpiration. I'll proceed further. Now stomata are minute structures occurring in the large number of the lower epidermis of the leaf. So just now we saw that it is at the lower epidermis. Then now transpiration will take place when the stomata are open. So here transpiration will take place when the stomata are open. So as the stomata are open, what will happen? Okay, it will take place, and as they close it stops. So the opening and the closing of the stomata. So here you can see opening and the closing of the stomata is controlled by the guard cells. Okay, the guard cells are responsible for the opening and the closing of the stomata basically. Okay, so here we can see that as the stomata opens during daytime, diffusion of gases in and out starts, fulfilling the need for photosynthesis, as well as it allows the transpiration. So stomata gets opened, transpiration process will take place, as well as photosynthesis also take place. And what happens if for any reason, now here I can say that now the stomata is open, photosynthesis is taking place, transpiration is taking place. Now what happens is here at a point we can say that the absorption of the water which is there, okay, at a point we can say that if for any reason the water content of the leaf is falling short, the guard cells fail to remain turgid. They turn flaccid, losing turgidity, thereby closing the stomatal opening, and transpiration stops. So what happens here actually is, if the amount of water is not reaching, okay, by some reason we can say that the water content of the leaf is falling short. So water is not being the water is not reaching due to some problem. So we can say that the guard cells which are there, they close. As the guard cells close, they become flaccid. Flaccid is they become they close their stomata, so they become flaccid and lose their turgidity. When it is turgid, the stomata are open. When it is flaccid, the stomata are closed. So this is what happens actually in this. Okay, so we can say that when transpiration occurs, stomata are open. When there is we can say due to some problem, the transpiration does not take place and the stomata will be closed. Now leaves of some plants during midday wilt during midday and then recover in the evening. Now there are some plants like the balsam plant. What happens is the leaves wilt. Why? Because during midday, in spite of that, there is a plenty of water in the soil. So even if there is plenty of water, these leaves wilt. So in such cases, what happens? The rate of transpiration which is there, it exceeds. Rate of transpiration is more than the absorption rate. Absorption of the root is taking place, but the transpiration is more. So what happens? If transpiration is more, what will happen? The leaves will be keeping on losing water, right? The leaves will be keeping on losing water. So transpiration more, leaves will be losing water. Finally what happens? Okay, here I'll just show you in the form of small little diagram. So here the leaves will be losing water. Even though the absorption is there, absorption which is there, okay, it becomes less than loss of water. So if absorption becomes less than loss of water, so absorption is less, loss of water is more. So what will happen? The leaf will wilt. Okay, so the leaf will wilt. Then afterwards, what happens is, during the evening, okay, when there is evening, the cells therefore will lose their turgidity. But in evening or the nights, what happens? The stomata are now constricted. Now the stomata are closed. So what happens? The temperature is also not high. Therefore, there is no loss of water to transpiration, and again the leaves can turn turgid. So this is reacquired, and then it can stand out. So we can say stomatal transpiration which is there, it is controlled by the plant. How it is controlled by the plant? By just adjusting the size of the stoma. And whereas this does not happen in the case of lenticular and cuticular transpiration. So what happens here, stomatal transpiration can be it can be controlled. So I hope you understood this part, that absorption of the root water is more, but absorption of the roots is less, but transpiration is more. That's why the leaf becomes wilt. No more water it can give out, so it becomes wilt. More water it is giving out, but it does not have any what we can say, it does not have any strength, so it will be wilting. But as the evening proceeds, transpiration stops, temperature is not high, slowly it will regain its turgidity. So stomatal transpiration is controlled by the opening and the closing of the, or adjusting the size of the stoma. Now let's go to the next one, that is cuticular transpiration. Cuticular transpiration, what is actually cuticle? Cuticle is nothing but the waxy layer which is secreted by epidermis of two surfaces of the leaves. Okay, the thickness of the cuticle varies from plant to plant. So can I say this is the we can say that this is the cuticle, that is a waxy coating. Okay, this is the waxy coating. Why waxy coating? Because when you put water on this, what happens? Immediately the water will it will be sliding off easily. So this is the plant cuticle. Now thickness varies from plant to plant. Okay, now here primarily the cuticle which is there, it is also serves to prevent the evaporation of water from the leaves, but sometimes evaporation also occurs. So if it is preventing the rate of evaporation, where it will be? It will be present in the desert plants, right? So we can say the greater the thickness of the cuticle, the lesser is the evaporation. So if the cuticle is thicker, rate of evaporation will be less. So desert plants, they are there, they have thicker cuticle. So if they have thick cuticle, what will happen? Their transpiration process will be less. Okay, so here we can say cuticle. Yeah, cuticle is a waxy coating. We can say waxy secreted by these things. So if there is a thick cuticle over here, evaporation is less. So which plants have thick cuticle? Desert plants. Then lenticular transpiration. What is lenticular transpiration? The lenticular transpiration takes place from lenticels. What are lenticels? These are nothing but the pores which are present on thick and woody stems, okay, on the barks of the older stems in place of stomata. Now these also allow for the diffusion of gases, for respiration, as well as for photosynthesis. Lenticels never close. Okay, one thing is that they are never closed, they are always open. So water from the cell surfaces directly facing the lenticel evaporates and contributes to transpiration. These lenticels are always open, so continuously transpiration process can take place. Now the amount of transpiration from lenticels is certainly more than cuticular transpiration, but very much less than stomatal transpiration. So we can say amount of transpiration is lenticel is more than cuticular, but we can say that it is less than the stomatal. So we can say that here we will say whatever lenticular transpiration which is there, it is more than cuticular, right? More than cuticular, lenticular is more than the cuticular, but we can say that lenticular is less than stomatal transpiration. So all these points, I hope they are clear. What is actually stomatal transpiration, what is how the leaves are given out, how the leaves give out the water, how the undersurface of the leaves, how we can prove this particular experiment, as well as what happens at night and what happens during day, opening and closing of stomata, how it is, we will be understanding it in the next chapter. And then what is cuticular and lenticular transpiration. Okay, fine. So the next part we will be doing it afterwards. Kindly complete the given task. Whatever question answers are there, I have told you from the previous lesson as well as from the third lesson, kindly complete it. Thank you children, and take care.